Okay. So, after doing your assessment, I just want you to hold off on the assessment, and we're going to come back to the assessment.
Okay.
Okay. So, the purpose of an annotative bibliography is basically, it's a summary or an evaluation of each source. So, to better understand what an annotative bibliography is, you have to break it down. So first you have annotated. So when you look at annotated, you should always think, let me write this down for you. Okay. So when you think of annotated, which is pretty much annotation, you should think of it as a summary. So it's basically a summary of something, an article, a picture, or anything. It's a summary. Then when you look at bibliography, you should think of a list of sources. So, or MLA, this will be your works cited page. So if you was using APA format, this will be your reference page. So when you put them two together, it's basically a list or a summary of the sources that you researched in your paper. The best way or a way to understand it is like a sport. It's two things put together to make one end product. So, to go back on the purpose of it is basically so it can help you learn your topic. So you can understand what exactly is being presented in your topic, what you're researching about. And it allows you to create your own point of view. Also, annotative bibliographies are used as to help you as a researcher. One, because it's concise and you are able to, I guess, a better way to say this, you're able to understand exactly what you're researching in a smaller frame. So it's not like this whole research paper and you have to read all these things. It just gives you a brief summary. Also, some annotative bibliographies are published. So, say for instance, you're doing a topic on domestic violence. You can go into Google or something like that and actually research annotative bibs on domestic violence, and you can actually see, some publishings of some articles that are actually out there. So, to go into the step-by-step process of an annotative bibliography, it's very similar to your normal write-up of an MLA format paper. So making sure that your paper is 8.5 by 11 inches, that is double-spaced, your periods, making sure that you leave space, the 1-inch margins, and all of that. That's entitled into doing an annotative bib. Like I stated earlier, annotative bibs, they're very simple, but they're very beneficial, and they do take a lot of time. So you have to be determined to actually learn it. So to move on into our agenda, we're actually going to watch a short video on annotative bibs, or how to do an annotative bib. So, give me 1 second.
Let's talk about annotated bibliography. Okay, so your teacher told you to write an MLA formatted annotated bibliography. Or maybe your teacher calls it a works cited page. Don't stress out. They sound scary, but they aren't that hard. An annotated bibliography is kind of like a spork. It's just two separate assignments that get mashed up into one. If you just do them one at a time, it's easy. If you're mainly interested in learning about citing online sources, you can skip ahead. First, you've probably written bibliographies for previous classes. For our purposes, a works cited page is pretty much the same thing as a bibliography. Here's what one looks like. So let's do a quick review. A bibliography, or works cited page, is a list of the sources you used for an essay you wrote, where you looked up information created by other people and you used it in your essay. You were smart enough to remember to make a note of the websites you used, right? If not, go into your history on your browser and find them. All of your sources are listed in alphabetical order, and they have what's called a hanging indent. See here, the first line begins at the margin, but the rest of the citation is indented a half inch. That way, it's easy for a reader to skim down and find the source he or she is looking for. And a lot of teachers will pick one source from your bibliography at random and actually investigate it to see if it's what you say it is. Now, I have no problem with students using bibliography-making websites like bibme.org and easybib.com. But there is definitely value in learning how to do this yourself, instead of depending on a machine to know what you could just learn yourself. Next time you're at the library, look at the latest edition of the MLA Handbook and look over the rules. Okay, so each bibliographic entry is made up of some pretty basic information. What is it? Who wrote it? When was it written? And who published it? That's easy when you're using an actual book. It's all right there before the title page. When you're using a website as a source, it can get tricky. However, if you spend a few minutes searching the site, you can usually find out when it was posted online. You can use a copyright date if that's all you have. And if it's a reputable source, the author can often be found as well. If you can't find the author, your entry will begin with the title of the page itself, but this looks frustratingly incomplete to most teachers, including me. I always want to know, did this kid actually try to find the name of the author? And then I'll go look at the site myself to check. The key is to do the hunting around and find the information you need. Don't just paste a URL into EasyBib. That will produce a poor entry like this one, which would be acceptable to virtually no teacher on this planet. Next, if you used images taken from the internet for a poster or a slideshow presentation like this one, just select Digital Image at the bibliography making website. Here's an entry for a digital image I used in one of my videos. See here, I couldn't find the name of the person who actually owns the right to this photo, so it begins with the name of the file itself. Unfortunately, that will be the case a lot of the time with digital images copied from the internet. ND means no date. I looked but couldn't find the date for the picture. Oh, and this date is the date I viewed the image. Basically, it's the day I downloaded it. When it asks what the publisher is, look at the website. It might just say it all obvious-like. But if not, look at the root of the URL, the internet address. Let's say this is your URL. Then this is what you can list as the publisher. It usually follows the two forward slashes, these, and ends with something like .com, .org, .net, .ca if it's from Canada, and so on. 90% of the time, that's who produced that website. After you have all your entries done, put them in alphabetical order by the first letter. Numbers precede letters, like this. See how 9460 comes before Abe? So that part isn't too hard, right? If you've done this, you're actually halfway done. Okay, now, I don't have the same expectations for a 9th grader that I would have for a university level student. This video is for beginners, so the annotations will be short and simple. All an annotation is a description of the source and how you used it in your assignment. That's all it is, and it looks like this. Here, I'll put the annotations in red so you can see where the citation ends and the annotation begins. Don't use different colors on your essay. I'm just doing that here so you can see it clearly. You can see that under each bibliographic entry, there are a few lines describing what the source is and how you used it in your paper. Sometimes you won't actually have any quotes from a source, but you used it as a source of general knowledge on your topic. That's fine with me. Just explain that in your annotation, as you see here. Last, the format. Your annotated bibliography should be double-spaced. Yes, all of it. It may look weird if you're not used to it, but do it anyway. Don't make it double-spaced by hitting the return key twice. Adjust the line spacing using the format function on your computer. computer. Now, how that's done depends on your word processing program. And while we're on this topic, if your program inserts a blank space after each paragraph, try to disable that. Also, don't forget those hanging indents like these here. And use Times New Roman for your font if possible. And that's it. It's a bit of work documenting your sources correctly, but presumably your research was the hard part. Do a good job in this section, or you could raise suspicions that you plagiarized or just made stuff up. So it's worth the effort. Good luck with your assignment.
Okay, so in connection to that video that I, supplied y'all with, I want to give you additional help. So some sites that can help you with doing your annotated bib are things like Purdue Owl. Also, having the up-to-date manual of your MLA style will also help do that for you. Now, the best bet for me is Purdue Owl, because Purdue Owl, it changes it with every edition. So some people, they may have the 3rd edition, the 4th edition, what have you. But if you go into Purdue Owl, it's always current and up to date. So even if you can't afford, an up-to-date manual, you could go on Purdue Owl and it can give you like a list of examples or anything like that. So please visit Purdue Owl. I could write the link up here for you all just to make sure that you get it, which is pretty much www.purdueowl.com. So just look at that one in addition to the video I sent you. So you all will be getting this electronically, so that y'all can have this for your records, this whole presentation to help you. So now, I need you all to go back to your assessment, and we're just going to go over the questions just so I can see if you got a better, knowledge of what I presented to you this evening. So the first question I asked you on your assessment is, what is an annotated bib? So, Miss Lakeisha, could you, tell me what an annotated bib is?
Oh, okay. Well, what I learned from the video, an annotated bib is a summary, a synopsis of the article.
Okay. So did your answer varied, or was it correct with what you had in the beginning?
Explains the meaning, what the author is saying to the audience, and highlighted facts.
Okay.
To the that the writer might get from the article.
Okay. What are 2 parts of the annotated bib?
The works cited and the brief summary of the article.
Yes. Okay. What is the purpose of an annotated bibliography?
Well, I didn't write it down, but I feel like it's easier to, besides reading the whole, when you're doing a research paper, it's easier just to read the paragraph and get an idea. You put that part in your paper. It just helps you flow better.
Okay. And what is the difference between an annotated bibliography and a works cited page?
A works cited page just gives you the reference where it's located, whether the bibliography gives you the works cited and an explanation of the article.
Okay. So now at this particular time, I'm just, leaving the floor open for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have about the topic that I presented to you tonight. If you need anything or anything like that. So, do you have any questions about anything?
Yes.
Okay.
For the annotated bibliography for APA, MPLA, is it the same for everyone? No or yes? Is it the same format?
The format is it's the same. So the annotative bibliography is, universal for MLA. Okay. Now, something is different is the length of the annotative bibliography. Depending on the professor, some professors may want 3 to 4 sentences, where some professors may require you to have like a whole page. So that the actual annotation part of the bibliography can be different depending on the professor. So yeah.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.